What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over the Crown Splitter, the Titan specific sword. We'll be going over its damage glitch right now with the energy accelerant mod from the artifact, and we'll be breaking down all the DPS numbers and seeing if it is the highest DPS weapon in the game right now. And believe it or not, I don't really play anything outside of my Warlock, so big thanks to Steve for letting me jump on his account to use a role on the Crown Splitter. And I'm making this video on Saturday, so hopefully it doesn't get disabled before then. But even if it does, I'm going to be showing off the regular DPS numbers also for the Crown Splitter, so even if it does get fixed, relatively soon, this video will also be showing off what the normal damage of the weapon is once the energy accelerant no longer works with it. So let's jump right into it on Carl. Looking at base damage of a heavy attack, it's going to hit for 77,000, which is obviously quite a lot just from a regular sword attack. Now we get Whirlwind times 5 and do the same thing. You see it's going to be 30% more damage at 100,000. Now if we go ahead and pair that with the energy accelerant mod, which should buff the damage of Dragonfly, Chain Reaction, and Firefly, but obviously it works on a lot of other things in the game, one of them being the Crown Splitter heavy attack, not the light attacks. As you see, light attacks are the same, but the heavy attack will be 2x damage, now hitting 201,000. So obviously that is a lot burst damage. Looking at the DPS numbers of one full combo, so like the normal combo of sword, 5 light attacks into heavy attack, that takes a little over 4 seconds, being DPS of the combo without energy accelerant would be 58,000, then with the mod on 83,000. So that is obviously a pretty good number, but not really that high. The better way to optimize this weapon is doing the heavy attack way sooner. So with 3 swings, that would take the DPS number to 94.1 thousand with energy accelerant, and then without it, still 61.6 thousand. So pretty good numbers right there. And we can go even further, just 2 swings into the heavy attack, now taking 2.1 seconds, and now raise the DPS to 106,000. So pretty much the quicker you do the heavy attack, the higher the burst damage will be, because the bulk of the damage of this weapon is tied to the heavy attack with the mod. And if we keep removing swings, obviously with 1, then eventually with no swings before the heavy attack, we'll eventually get to just the damage of the heavy attack with the mod, which is 150,000. But then if we go to the other side of the spectrum and look at the sustained DPS of this weapon using something like Lucent Blade for the recharge rate of the energy, and there's a bunch of different combos you could do. The one I'm going to be doing is 2 swings into the heavy, then a full combo after that. As soon as I can do my heavy attack again, I will. And that full combo will be 56,000 without the mod. Then with the mod, it still be over 81,000. So actually not too bad for sustained DPS. And every single weapon in the game can get a 35% buff and a 30% debuff. But the thing about swords and on Titan is you can use Lucent Blade for the buff. Then you could use Top Tree Sunbreaker for the debuff using Hammer Strike, which will be a 30% debuff. So looking at the damage of that on Carl first doing the debuff. Then we already have Lucent Blade, so we have to swing once to proc the Lucent Blade, then do heavy attack. Obviously, piece is dead. And if we just do the math, that full combo would be 186,000 for the burst DPS number with 2 swings. Then for the sustained DPS combo, it would be 142,000, and both those numbers are with the mod. I think a more interesting combo would be if you're in a fire team using Middle Tree Striker, Thunder Crash with the Falling Star for that insane burst damage really quickly, and that'll take you to the target, and you can just start swinging your sword right afterwards since you're already there. And now comparing it to a few different things in the game, first looking at the Falling Guillotine, which was like the meta legendary sword for the longest time, pretty much the exact same role as the Crown Splitter, doing the 5 light attacks into heavy attack. It takes 3.1 seconds, which means pretty much the exact same DPS as the Crown Splitter without energy accelerant. Obviously right now with the mod, the Crown Splitter is a little bit higher, but without it, they're pretty much neck and neck. We could also look at the Lament, which is pretty much the king of swords. Look at the DPS, rate of fire, all that good stuff on Carl. 2.3 seconds for a full combo, which means 80,000 DPS. So for burst DPS, this is obviously a little bit better than the Guillotine, and also the Crown Splitter without the mod. Right now with the mod, it is pretty much on par with the full combo number, but if you obviously do less swings into the heavy attack, the Crown Splitter is much higher. So the thing that the DPS numbers of the Crown Splitter and Energy Accelerant mod most closely resemble is the Deathbringer, because the Deathbringer over 2 shots does roughly 110,000 DPS. Then over multiple shots, it'll drop down to the 80s and 90s. Then if you just do 1 shot, just like if you did 1 heavy attack with the Crown Splitter, you do roughly 150,000 damage instantly. So the DPS numbers, damage output of both these weapons are pretty similar right now. Obviously, Crown Splitter is only that high due to the glitch with Energy Accelerant. So is the Crown Splitter the highest DPS weapon in the game right now? Well, yes and no. It's pretty much on par with Deathbringer, which is, the highest DPS weapon normally. So you can definitely say it is, but I think a lot of people are exaggerating how good it is. As you saw by the numbers, it's definitely good and on par with Deathbringer, but I think a lot of people are saying it's like way higher than like anything else in the game, and that is because they're taking into account like the Lucent Blade and debuff into their numbers, which obviously inflates it quite a bit. But obviously every other weapon in the game can also get a 35% buff and 30% debuff. So if you're comparing numbers, you gotta compare them both without the stuff or with the stuff. You can't compare one name with the stuff than one without it. I mean, that is obviously not a one-to-one comparison, and I think that is what a lot of people are doing right now. So yeah, the Crown Splitter is definitely crazy right now, pretty much on par with Deathbringer, but not quite as far out there as people are making it seem. And yeah, as you saw, even after they fixed the energy accelerant working with Crown Splitter, it'll still be pretty much on par with things like Fallen Guillotine. Maybe not quite up there with Lament, but pretty much no sword is. So yeah, overall, it's definitely a solid sword. Extremely good right now with the energy accelerant glitch. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.